there are some seats up in the front. I was hoping you found it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where do I go?
Coaches are going to sit over there, and there's a program on the table, so you'll see where you're going.
All right.
Good evening. Welcome to the 4th Annual Crimson Awards Ceremony. Tonight is a very special night. Tonight we have the opportunity to celebrate our Crimson Award winners in a setting and an event that is unique for these student athletes. With the loss of this event last school year, I have never been so happy to bring the event back on campus and in person. Tonight is a night dedicated solely to our student athletes, an opportunity to hear about your peers and their accomplishments and accolades over the past school year in one evening. We have the opportunity tonight to celebrate 25 students who have left a mark on their teams and on their legacy as student athletes. They have been chosen as their program's Crimson Award winners. 25 student athletes who came here tonight with their own experiences, their own challenges and adversities, but ultimately celebrating their success in their respective sports. We have student athletes in this room who are conference, prep, county, and state champions, students who are multi-sport athletes, sportsmanship award winners, and one who is a multi-sport Crimson Award winner. Students who have accomplished great things in the classroom, performing at a very high level in rigorous classes. Students who have held roles in the plays and musicals, who perform in our orchestra, jazz band, choral, dance concerts, and students who will be playing their respective sports in college. With all of these accomplishments, we gather a very talented group of amazing student athletes who are the heart of the school and most deserving of this award. The Crimson Award, as it is named, goes to the player who encourages teammates and cheers others on. The athlete displays excellent character and best exemplifies the principles, standards, and ideals of Morristown-Beard School. It is presented to the athlete who, through exemplary conduct, shows the essence and spirit of MBS, and who has a strong commitment to making their team better. This athlete displays dedication to the team and teammates, has the best attitude, and shows exceptional leadership skills. This athlete has pride in their team and a motivational attitude that inspires others. They are dedicated to seeing their team win, but also have a consistently positive attitude even when games are lost. I am excited and extremely proud of my involvement in the MBS athletic department for the past 23 years. The biggest reason I am so proud is because of the people, the teams, the athletes, the coaches, and the family that we have assembled here tonight. Present here are family members, teammates, coaches, alumni, and most importantly, Crimson fans. You are all present tonight to hear the next chapter written in the chronicle that is Morristown-Beard School Crimson. I am proud to be in the company of all of you this evening, especially our student athletes, who we will celebrate as our Crimson Award winners. You have made key contributions in athletics at MBS, and you should be very proud. At this time, I would like to welcome our first presenter, Brett Michelle, class of '86.
Good evening. After a delayed start, the girls' 2020 tennis season took off with great success, largely due to the leadership of this girls' Tennis Crimson Award winner. Hannah Blake is a four-year varsity starter on the Crimson girls' tennis team. In her 4 seasons, Hannah has won 38 dual matches and helped the team to an overall mark of 45 wins against 18 losses. During our last 2 seasons, Hannah was a key contributor in our team capturing back-to-back NJAC Liberty Division titles. Hannah and her partner Sophie Schramm were the 2019 Morris County Tournament First Doubles champions. Additionally, Hannah was a 2-time prep tournament finalist and 3-time New Jersey State Tournament singles and doubles qualifier. As captain this past season, Hannah displayed true leadership when her season was interrupted by an injury sustained in a match with Hanover Park. Rather than feel sorry for herself, Hannah made sure to be the most vocal supporter of her teammates during the most challenging portion of our season. Hannah had our team prepared to enter the state tournament as the #1 seed in our bracket, and when that opportunity was thwarted because of COVID, Hannah kept team morale high and led the team with a decisive 6-love victory in her final high school match against Madison. The tennis coaching staff would like to thank Hannah for her hard work and determination on the court, and for her continued motivation of her teammates both on and off the court. Hannah has been a tremendous asset to our program from the start, but even more so as we navigated through the challenges of an uncertain season. Congratulations, Hannah Blake.
We're going to take a picture with Kramer.
Picture. You got to turn that way and get your picture. There you go. Thank you. And I don't
Okay.
get
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Hannah. Well done. Fist bump. There we go.
At this time, I would like to welcome Scott McCormick.
This year's winter track season was one of the most challenging I've ever had as a coach. The pandemic meant we were not able to practice inside, and you might remember it turned out to be one of the harshest winters that the area has seen in many years. Whether we would even have any meets at all was always in question, so there was a lack of identifiable goals for team members with no major championships scheduled. But if I showed up for practice early in the morning on a cold Saturday morning in February, I could always count on one person being there waiting for me, Will. He was ready to go, regardless of the weather, and willing to put in all the effort he needed to in order to improve. Compared to his freshman year, the improvement Will has shown as a runner in just 1 year is truly impressive and a testament to his absolutely fantastic work ethic. He has truly dedicated himself to making the most of his abilities and is on the pathway to becoming a very successful runner for our team. Working with him over the next 2 seasons is one of the things I'm looking most forward to as a coach over the next couple of years. But what means the most to me about the kind of teammate Will is actually occurred during the spring season, when we were unexpectedly short a runner at the Morris County Relays due to an illness. We were already at Randolph, and one of the kids called up Will on the phone, and he immediately said, "I'll be there," and got himself to the meet. And since he can't drive, I also need to thank his family for getting him to the meet. They get some credit there too. And he came and ran a great relay leg for us, in an event that was actually outside of his normal range of competition. He has a very ambitious plan for summer training established for what he plans on accomplishing over the next few months, and I really can't wait to see what he can do over the next 2 years. It is rare that I've given this award to an underclassman, but this year it was clear who the most deserving candidate for the Crimson Award was for winter track, Will Kuppenheimer.
Turn around and just take a picture.
Thank you.
Next, Kathy Kellstrom.
Good evening. I'm Kathy Kellstrom, and I'm the Crimson Girls varsity golf coach since the spring of 2016, so when we started our first golf team. So it's our 5-year anniversary. The Crimson Award is presented to the athlete who, through exemplary conduct, shows the essence and spirit of MBS athletics and who has a strong commitment to making the team better. So it's easy to see that the Crimson Award is more than just about skill or talent, but exemplary conduct, hard work, good sportsmanship, and leadership. Brooke Sandler is just that kind of team member, as well as a dedicated athlete. So Brooke always strives to do her best and is her own harshest critic. Golf, while played in a team format, is essentially an individual sport that requires hours of practice and nerves of steel. Brooke leads by example, never shying from any opportunities to compete. She shows up to matches and practices on time, fully prepared and agreeable to whatever situation may come her way, including rainy, windy, and cold conditions, a sure thing in springtime golf. One of the things I love most about Brooke is how she compliments and supports her teammates. Brooke's quiet smile and calm and confident disposition puts both her teammates and her opponents at ease. The reputation our team has established in these past 5 years is that our players know their way around the golf course, display good sportsmanship, and are fun to play with, as they are friendly and gracious. And Brooke is all of those things. She too is an underclassman. She is a sophomore this year and missed her freshman year with us. So it's very important to us that she has really taken this on. So Brooke is, as a sophomore, poised to lead MBS girls golf to winning seasons in our NJAC conference, in the county, as well as among our prep competitors. So there's a lot of great things to come. When I asked her teammates who should be selected the most valuable player, Brooke was the undisputed favorite. She's had the lowest average score on the team the entire season, with an average of 53. We played some pretty tough golf courses, so that's actually a very good score. Her score of 48 in the Morris County Girls Golf Tournament was among the top 10 lowest scores, just 2 strokes off the top 5. She competed in 15 matches, including the Morris County Tournament, Prep Championships, and the NJAC Championships. If she had not been sidelined by COVID contact tracing, she would have participated in 3 more matches for a total of 18 competitions over the course of the season. That's a lot of golf. She's emulated the best qualities of her older teammates and with admirable commitment to the game of golf and the girls' golf team. But undoubtedly, the best is yet to come for Brooke and our MBS girls' golf team. I am thrilled to be giving Brooke Sandler the 2021 Crimson Award for the girls' varsity golf team. There she is.
So you stand on this side. Congratulations. Dave, should we move over? No, that's good. Okay.
He's getting our best. Congratulations.
At this time, I welcome Andres Callejas, boys soccer.
Good evening. My name is Andres Callejas. I'm the boys varsity soccer coach. I want to welcome our parents, students, family members, fellow coaches. I want to take a quick moment to acknowledge the athletic department for everything they do for us. You guys are great. Thank you. Justin. He's played varsity level for the last 4 years. He was our captain his senior year. What makes Justin such a unique individual is not his phenomenal soccer skills or the amount of goals he scores, but who he is as a person and the qualities and values he possesses. He's only a senior in high school, but behaves like an adult. He has a profound sense of commitment, dedication, hard work, and leadership. He always respected opposing coaches, players, teammates, referees. He's a fierce competitor. Justin is one of the most mature players I have ever coached. From the beginning, it always felt that I was coaching and conversing with an adult. His level of commitment and determination has no boundaries. Justin always worked hard and gave everything he had in every practice and game. Justin always asked his teammates to be the better person in every situation, and he lived by those words. He never cared to be the center of attention on the team. He only cared about his teammates and what the team needed. He took it upon himself to make sure everything that needed to be done for a game or practice was done. When the team needed someone to correct the wrong, or when the team needed to be inspired, Justin was the one to do it. The way Justin plays soccer is the way he lives his life. Justin's intensity and fighting spirit is contagious. He's a fighter who never gives up and whose determination makes him a winner. Justin never backs down from a challenge. He always gives everything he has, no matter the situation. Justin always has a smile on his face, especially on the field. The joy he shows for soccer is the same joy he has for everything he does. Justin has developed into a terrific young man. I'm very proud of all his accomplishments and of the leader he has become. You have a bright future ahead of you. It has been a privilege to coach you for the last 4 years. I'm very proud of you. The Fall 2020 Boys Soccer Crimson Award goes to Justin Green.
Yeah, move on this side. Yeah. We're getting back to normal.
Thanks, Coach.
Congrats.
Well, this year was, a great year for us. So we had such a great group of young men that we had 2 Crimson Awards this year, so that's fine. This next player, Tim, he has been at the varsity level for 4 years. He was our captain his senior and junior year. Tim is an incredible individual. He's a phenomenal role model that always leads by example. Tim is kind, polite, selfless, and always has a positive attitude. He always respected opposing coaches, players, referees, and his teammates. He's a fierce competitor, but never allowed his judgment to be clouded. He always did the right thing on and off the field. Tim always worked hard to not only improve himself, but to make everyone around him a better player, and most importantly, a better individual. Tim always asked his teammates to be the better person in every situation, and he lived by those words. He always listened to advice and learned from his mistakes. He has one of the best attitudes I've ever seen in a young man. He's positive, encouraging, selfless, dedicated, determined, and he has a great work ethic. He's always the first one to shake a hand of an opposing player and the first one to make sure his teammates and opposing players were okay after an injury. Tim has developed into a great soccer player, a great leader, but most importantly, into a terrific young man. At his young age, Tim became a role model for his teammates. I never had a high school player that wanted to be and learn from their teammates the way his teammates wanted to learn from Tim. Tim's fighting spirit is incredible. He underwent 2 ACL surgeries, but those incidents only made him stronger, more determined to come back stronger every time. He never felt sorry for himself. Instead, he always had a smile on his face and was ready to embrace the challenge of such a surgery. I'm very proud of all his accomplishments and the leader he has become. You have a bright future ahead of you. It has been a privilege to coach you for the last 4 years. I'm very proud of you. The Fall 2020 Boys Soccer Crimson Award goes to Tim.
He didn't want to botch your last name.
I know.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
all
even
right.
try. Wrote
I
it
think
down,
it's
but I
taken
didn't
me
even
4
try.
years
You've
to
had
figure it
4 years,
out.
yeah.
At this time, I'll welcome Amber Sky Green, girls and boys swimming.
Hello, good evening. I'm actually going to combine both girls and boys together. I have Josie Ashton and Mick Patankar that I have as my Crimson Award winners. Although I only had the opportunity to work with both of these student athletes for 6 weeks this season, I have nothing but positive things to say. When we first met, we were all virtual, and Mick stepped up and was the voice of the team, which then carried onto the pool deck when we started the season. He was always one step ahead with questions, concerns about training, what he was doing at the meet, even, what he had to do to earn a letter. I mean, always had questions, always very interested in learning everything. He always had a smile on his face and seemed to enjoy every practice and meet he was at, even though they were challenging and sometimes out of his comfort zone. I wish I had more time to work with Mick, and I know that he will be successful in whatever path he chooses. Josie was another student athlete that stood out this season. Again, with only 6 weeks to work with her, I was able to see she gave everything she had at every practice and meet. She also had a smile on her face and gave off a positive vibe that spread throughout her teammates. She was definitely someone that was that the younger swimmers on the team looked up to and enjoyed watching her swim. This season was tough for all student athletes, especially swimmers, since we never had a team to actually swim against in person. Swimming virtually meant racing against your teammates that you practiced with day in and day out in the same pool. Yet, with the energy and positiveness that these two gave off throughout the season, it made it much easier for the team to still do what they had to do. So this year's winners for the 2021 season for girls and boys is Josie Ashton and Mick Patankar.
I'm in the hole. I know. It's a big hole there. Okay. Congrats. Thank you. At this time, I'll welcome John Shepard, baseball.
I'd like to start by thanking the athletic department, congratulating all the recipients. Well done. And Dice, thank you very much for all that you do. All teams need a solid foundation of team players, players that connect with all teammates. One who understands his role in the team, and even though he may aspire to a different role, he performs his given role with pride. Teams need players who serve as a role model and lead by example, players who put their own needs and put the needs of the team before their own. Teams need players who never ask what's in it for me, but what can I do to help the team? Players who project positive attitude and enthusiasm even when things aren't going their way. The recipient of the Crimson Award for Baseball is a perfect example of a team player. Jared Pine has been a member of the baseball program since his freshman year. During that time, he has served as a team leader for both varsity and JV baseball teams. Jared gave all that he's had to his teammates and asked for nothing in return. He has earned the respect of his coaches and teammates. Jared plays for all the right reasons. He doesn't play for extrinsic reward. He's not motivated by recognition or awards or a potential scholarship offer. He plays for the love of the game. Jared's work ethic and attitude and curiosity is a perfect combination, which allows him to draw knowledge from every experience. His humor and humility allow him to remain grounded and enjoy his experiences without pretense or arrogance. On behalf of the baseball program, thank you for your unwavering commitment to your teammates. It is my honor to present the Crimson Award for Baseball to Jared Pine.
Thank you. Yes, just move over. Come on,
Shift over.
Here, you get in the middle.
We'll get this right.
Thank you, Coach.
Michael Sturgeon, volleyball.
Good evening. My name is Mike Sturgeon, and I have the honor of presenting the Crimson Award for volleyball. The volleyball team went through a number of changes this past year. A new coaching staff, an almost brand new roster, and oh yes, they played their season in March and April rather than September and October. We seem to have everything going in the right direction except for one thing. We didn't have a setter. See, having no setter in volleyball is like having no face-off specialist in lacrosse or no point guard in basketball. It makes winning very difficult. Enter Reagan Russo, an outside hitter who is very good at that position, who said she would set. The other thing to know about the setter is that to the casual observer, there's no glamour in the position. They set the ball to the hitters so the hitters can swing, and that's where the glory lies. Reagan offered to set, knowing it would be for the betterment of the team. She was willing to step out of the spotlight to help her team. Our assistant coach was really excited about this move and shocked that a high school kid would be so willing to do so. Me, I wasn't shocked at all. If you know Reagan's backstory, it was a move she was more than comfortable making. See, Reagan transferred from Pequannock High School for her junior year. I had the great honor of watching Reagan play basketball for Pequannock close up. We played her opening night of her sophomore year. She did it all for Pequannock, both on the volleyball and basketball court. She was a star of the program, and there was no mistaking it. This is an actual line from my 2019 Pequannock basketball scouting report that went out to our team. She's an extremely athletic guard who can score and defend. She can change a game in a blink of an eye. We need to double team her, maybe triple team her if needed. Use shutdown number 32, and you will shut down Pequannock. The reason I tell you this is because Reagan had it all at Pequannock. She would have been a 1,000-point scorer, all counting in both basketball and volleyball. Reagan put her personal stats aside for a different goal, an unselfish goal. She wanted to be part of something bigger. During the transfer process, I was nervous that she may not decide to come, but her confidence didn't waver. She wanted to become a piece of a puzzle that would fit together and build something great. Most high school athletes would have opted for being the star. Reagan again wanted the challenge of something bigger and better, and she took that challenge and ran with it. She leaves MBS as an all-conference performer in both basketball and volleyball, and left both programs in better shape than she found them, a true mark of a leader. She took a leap of faith that many would not take, putting personal stardom aside for being part and building something great. Reagan, I don't ever think you question your decision to come to MBS, but if you ever do, just know it was a perfect fit for both of us. I am pleased to present the 2021 Crimson Award to Reagan Russo.
This side, right?
Yeah. Congrats. That's really good.
Good work. You gotta jump in here. Oh, there you go. Congrats. You gotta take the pit off. Good.
Scott Green, boys hockey.
Thank you, Mike, for keeping that short. I think we all had a bet on how long that would go for, but pretty good, pretty good. So I had a few different versions of this speech, and then I was just going to rip it up. But either way, I wanted to talk a little bit about our Crimson Award winner, Luke McManus. So first, congratulations to everyone that's here. You guys are all here for a reason. There was a lot of kids on our team that probably deserve this award. We had a fantastic senior class. So many different guys. I mean, all of them truly kind of deserve it, but and it's nice to see some of them here for other sports, but just want to congratulate everyone here. So to start off, I want to tell a little bit of a story. So, you know, in our day and in our time as human beings, we are often fascinated by stories. Some of these stories are original works, and others are often recreations of past success. Companies like Netflix, Amazon, Disney, they're constantly creating content, trying to win over our eyes, our hearts, and our time. One thing that always remain true about a successful story is that it must contain some form of drama. In the world of sports, this drama is almost always a triumph over adversity, the underdog beating the top team, a comeback from a devastating injury, or surprise heroics in a championship game. The story of this year's Boys Hockey Crimson Award winner, Luke McManus, is no different. Luke's story is one of the most rewarding of my coaching career. A lot of it, I'll kind of sum up. There's a lot to the story, but basically Luke and I met first in 2018. He was entering his sophomore year, and it was my first year of coaching at MBS. Before that, I've never coached high school athletes. I coached youth athletes, pretty much 13 years old. Goalies, I was 2 for 2. One was at Harvard, one was at Boston College. It was very unique scenario. I've never really coached goalies before. Those goalies pretty much coached themselves. I had nothing to do with their success. I often just told them jokes in between periods and tried to keep them loose. So I came in here, we had, I think, 4 goalies try out. So Luke and I, when we first met, again, he's trying out. This is his first year trying out. Basically, the first year we didn't have a junior varsity program. So Luke was cut from the team. There was low numbers. There's only 4 goalies that you can technically kind of carry. You can carry more. It's very tough. So his freshman year, he didn't play. That freshman year, I wasn't there anyway. So we're kind of starting off on the same page. After the first day of tryouts in 2018, there was a lot of observations and thoughts running through my head. The first was, I think I should go back to advertising sales. This doesn't look like it's going to be a good year. The second was, wow, this Luke McManus kid, he's on a mission to prove something here. And indeed he did. Luke was quiet and reserved off the ice, but fiery and fierce and competitive on the ice. He was on a mission to prove any doubters wrong, not only about Morristown-Beard hockey, but about himself and his ability to play goal. Let's just say this, Luke and I, we had a lot in common. Like me, Luke does not leave fate to chance. Luke trusted the process from day one. His mission every day was to be the hardest working player on the ice, whether that was at practice or during a game. During his sophomore year, Luke played in many relief appearances. Like a pitcher, if you're having a bad game in hockey, if you're a goalie and you're not having a great game, or maybe the team's just not playing well, but you're playing well, usually at about 4 to 6 goals, we tell that goalie, that's all right, it's not your fault, it's our fault kind of thing, and take them out of their misery. So the goalie that goes in, oftentimes, it's not a position you want to be in, usually. But Luke, every time I put him in a relief appearance, usually we're losing by 6 goals already. Most goalies, again, not very happy. They just want the game to end, not Luke. He relished every opportunity he had to play and worked his way from basically 4th and last on the depth chart to 1st on the depth chart in a matter of months. To say, I trusted in Luke, had confidence in him, but to really turn around the way he did was truly astonishing. And that speaks to the success of our program, too. So turning around a program, it doesn't happen overnight. In 2019, we finished number 38 in the state. In 2020, we finished number 6. 2021, we finished number 4. And Luke is a true testament to the growth and maturation of our program. He really embodies the culture that we strive to have in all of our players in the program. It's a culture of a relentless mindset to outwork our competition, remain positive, and to play with selfless attitude. Luke McManus, to me, he very may well be one of the best goalies, and I've heard other Crimson hockey alumni say may be one of the best goalies to ever play hockey at Morristown-Beard School. Amazingly, he did so in only playing 25 games. His first year, obviously, was cut, did not play. His sophomore year, he played in 5 games. His junior year, 12. And then this past year, only 8 because of the pandemic. So if you asked Luke about this, he definitely wouldn't dwell on all the setbacks or reasons why things didn't always go his way over his high school career. Instead, Luke, in the true embodiment of the Crimson hockey culture, would only focus on the positives, winning back-to-back Menning Cup championships and leaving it all on the ice for his teammates. Luke's story to me is a reminder of why I do what I do and why I didn't quit and go back to ad sales. Instilling confidence and belief in young adults and to provide them with the tools to go from being the only cut freshman year to an all-state 2-time championship starting goalie by their senior year is truly remarkable, and a story I think only Disney could tell. Luke, I wish you the best of luck at Providence next year, and just like in hockey, I am confident you will have much success.
Sign this side. Good job. Aw. You're getting taller and taller.
Yeah, you do want to know since you're tall.
Yeah, my God. I feel like a midget.
Thank you.
Scott McCormick, boys track and field.
It is with a small note of sadness that we see the end of Luca's outstanding career as a track and field athlete at Morristown-Beard. He has been an incredible contributor to our team, and the success he has found, especially in the past 2 years, has been so satisfying to see after he struggled with injuries in his freshman year, but always put in an amazing effort in order to improve. Luca has been a real leader on our squad, serving almost as a de facto coach during many workouts. It is so helpful to the team to have an athlete who can be depended upon to hold the group responsible for hitting pace targets and taking appropriate breaks, and Luca is the person who has taken on this role over the past couple of years. He has even been known to do an extra bit of running during practice to help pace another team member as they finish their workout. We always knew Luca would give his best every single day, and the consistency of his efforts have led him to become a top competitor in multiple events in Morris County and our conference and state group. He was a key member of our prep championship team from the winter of 2020, providing some essential points that helped push us over the top. Luca is the consummate teammate, always encouraging others and being a quiet leader, and doing it all with a huge smile. Congratulations to a very deserving winner of this year's Crimson Award for Boys Track and Field, Luca Okuzu.
We'll go on this side, okay?
All right.
I don't realize how short I am against all these very tall student athletes. Tim Fell, football.
Good evening. I'd like to thank the athletic department for putting this event together. It is an honor to be here and recognize the best that our school has to offer in athletics. I want to congratulate all our Crimson Award recipients and let you know what a great job you do representing your teams and Morristown-Beard School. Every preseason, I meet with our parents and lay out my goals for our football program. They are as follows: give the boys a great experience playing high school football, help develop student athletes into tough-minded, mature young men, and through dedication and hard work, win as many games as we can. This year's Crimson Award recipient is a poster boy for these goals and how to achieve them. Greg Sutton loved playing high school football. He prepared himself in the off-season, was ready to hit the field during long preseasons and double sessions and the weekly grind of practice, and no one looked forward to game day more than Greg. As a blocking back, Greg rarely ran the ball or caught the ball, yet his enjoyment and impact on each game was easily seen. Both offensively and defensively, Greg loved playing football. Greg's maturation as a student and an athlete from 9th grade to his senior year has been outstanding. When I met Greg as an 8th grader, he was a shy, seemed unsure of himself young man. Fast forward to his senior year, and Greg is a confident, mature student athlete. Not only has Greg developed into a resilient student, he has also developed into a hard-nosed, grizzled, tough-minded football player. Greg was the heart and soul of our team this year and led us through the ups and downs of this past season. We had a great senior class. They were very good players, dedicated, strong and athletic, and Greg was their leader. As one of 3 captains, Greg led by example and led our team to an undefeated season, 4-0. When I think back to that parent meeting in August of 2017, when Greg was a freshman, I could not be more proud of how far he has come as a player, a leader, and most of all, a young man. He loved playing football, developed into a tough-minded student athlete, and was a dedicated team leader for our season. It is with great honor that I award the 2021 Crimson Football Award to Greg Sutton. Congratulations, Greg. Thank you. Why don't we put Greg in the middle?
Okay. Greg's in the middle.
Not as tall anymore. Good job today. Thank you.
Bruce Driver, girls ice hockey.
glasses, unfortunately. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to also thank the athletic department. We deal at Twin Oaks on pretty much a daily basis with regard to ice time there. COVID's cancellations from basically trying to figure out when the season was going to start through the summer. I mean, we're booking ice in the summer for our winter season. So thanks to Joanne and Kathy Fleming. I don't think Kathy's here today, but I work closely with Kathy with all our Morristown-Beard hockey programs at Twin Oaks, trying to balance all that ice time, and I know it was a very, very difficult year for everybody. Also like to congratulate all the Crimson Award winners tonight. Great accomplishment by each and every one of you. This year's Crimson Award winner for girls hockey is Annabelle Plant. She's the type of athlete that coaches love to have on their team. She's hardworking and very humble. Annabelle is always determined to play her best, but also willing to embrace each moment, whether it's positive, negative, jubilant, heartbreaking, or just plain funny. Annabelle, who has been a member of the girls hockey program for all 4 years of her high school career, has played several roles on the varsity team, beginning as a swing player as a freshman, to a power play specialist as the tall net front presence on our power plays, to taking a regular shift as a top six forward and eventually becoming the captain and leader of the team during her senior year. Due to the pandemic, this past winter sports season was one like no other. The girls' ice hockey team only were able to play 6 games compared to 27 the previous year. And unfortunately, after we qualified for the league championship, our opponent had to cancel due to quarantine after a COVID exposure not 4 hours before the game. However, through all the ups and downs during the season, Annabelle's leadership skills played a key role in holding our team together. Her willingness to communicate with this coaching staff regarding her feelings and frustrations, as well as those of her teammates, provided the coaches with a key window into the team's psyche by letting us know how everyone was coping. Through these conversations, we were able to have a better understanding of when we could push the team and when it was best for us to hold back a little bit. Another key moment which provides the insight into Annabelle's character occurred during her junior year when she broke her collarbone after an on-ice collision in our prep semifinal game. While obviously disappointed with not being able to play in the championship game, there she was behind the bench, arm in a sling, encouraging her teammates and willing them to a thrilling overtime victory. After the winning goal was scored, Annabelle was in the thick of the celebration, no concern for her own safety, being on the ice in street shoes. We couldn't have stopped her from being a part of that even if we tried. So deep is her love for the game and of her teammates. That said, Annabelle being behind the bench after breaking her collarbone was actually a natural fit for her. For almost her entire high school career, Annabelle has played a role as an extra coach on our team, which we took as a huge positive. She is unbelievably vocal from the bench. There wasn't a game we played when you didn't hear Annabelle yelling out one of the most common phrases we use as positional advice to her teammates. Who's high? So that's we're always trying to keep somebody high in the offensive zone to make sure that if we turn the puck over, somebody's there to help out defensively. Coming from a defenseman myself. This while also constantly encouraging everyone on the ice. Congratulations to this year's Crimson Award winner for girls ice hockey, Annabelle Plant.
Should have prepped her for that. You should have prepped her for that.
I should have prepped her for that.
Yeah. All right, in the middle. Okay. Thank you. Sal Tremunda, boys lacrosse.
Good evening. I would like to first thank Joanne DeZama and Kathy Fleming for putting together an amazing spring season. We are currently in the midst of our season, so I'm going to leave the praise and the stats until my end of the season dinner. I don't like to show my cards too often. Very happy to see some of my former players who left to play golf and current players who are not confident and have the most amazing outfits now out here tonight. But when Joanne asked for this email for my Crimson Award, I was a little torn. and called her and asked her if it was possible to get 2 Crimson Award winners. And it was about a month ago, and I had 2 in mind who were going to make the most unbelievable comeback from adversity and injury, and take us to the States far off into the season. And such as life happens, I have 2 young men who represent coming through adversity, through injuries, and have stepped up as role models. Unfortunately, after I put my names in, we had a little bit of a setback with one of my Crimson Award winners who was giving it his all on the field and ended up with an injury. But I chose these 2 young men because not the way they play on the field, but the way they conduct themselves off the field. I have seen them multiple times encourage younger players and talk to younger players about how to do better, and they were so patient with them. Once these players graduate, I don't remember their stats, their assists, their goals. I do remember the impact they made on the program and younger players. And these 2 young men have set an example for the younger players and truly exemplified Crimson Award winners. So this year, my 2021 Crimson Award winners for lacrosse go to Cam Fernandez and Seth Kaplan. We can come to you. We can come to you if you want.
Stay there. Cam, just stay there. Kate Alderman, field hockey.
Good evening. At the start of each field hockey season, I sit the team down and tell them that the hardest thing they will have to do this season is to develop a team-first mentality. Never have I met a player who had this so ingrained in their personality. Emily Lebovitz has never once strayed from this concept. She always chooses to be a good teammate, a good opponent, and more importantly, a good person. It is her generosity and compassionate nature that gives her the ability to create a positive culture on our team and reinforce the values of respect and selflessness at all levels. Emily has the irreplaceable ability to brighten everyone's day with some words of encouragement or a smile. And during games, her unwavering support for every player on the field propelled us to greater heights this season. A big reason for our success comes back to the honest, hardworking values that Emily models each day, and setting this foundation will be the reason our program can be successful in the future. Emily may never be able to understand the incredible impact she has had on her peers, this program, and her coaches. I'm so grateful for all she has given to this program and all she has taught us. For these reasons and many more, Emily has rightfully earned our Field Hockey Crimson Award. Congratulations, Emily.
We're getting this right. Lucas Massey, skiing.
Evening. So one of the things that really strikes me about this Crimson Award is that it highlights, as she's read earlier, that you're looking for somebody who helps the team, that makes the team better, and not necessarily the best athlete, but somebody who makes the team the best. And it's kind of fun when that person also is the best athlete. So skiing is a little bit unique. I'm sure most of you have no idea how it works, but the simple thing is we all race individually, and you're out there by yourself competing against no one. You're just by yourself, but at the end of the night we take the whole team, we combine their times together, and that's the score for the team. So it doesn't matter if you're the fastest person if the rest of your team is really slow. It's what makes everything together combined. That's what helps everybody win. And just to divert it a little quick, we had 28 total races that counted towards Brandon's career. So 28 events throughout all 4 years. It's really not a lot compared to what you heard some people at 18 this season. Of those, 18 were on the podium. That really speaks from freshman year through now how he did. And in skiing, if you disqualify, you miss a gate. If you fall, you lose your run completely. So on nights where we had Brandon performing the best of his life, first place, if he fell his second run, he was out. And that kind of highlights one of the things that that makes him such a big help to the team, is that when that happens, you go from being the best person to not even counting. And that hurts, right? You were there, you were on the top, and now you're not even on the page that we submit the results on. And every night when that happened, and it happened more than once, he was always there to support the team and always making sure that it's just one race. We'll get back into it. You know, it's just, it doesn't matter. We'll get back into the next one. You have your run. And cheering on his teammates, making sure that they always had their focus, their head in the game. That mattered. I remember a race last year. Somebody had fallen their first run, and this was like the borderline between whether or not they were going to make states or not. And so they had gotten up and finished, so their time counted, but it was very slow. And they were distraught, all over the place, couldn't focus on anything, you know, couldn't even get themselves back to the top of the mountain to sit down and just focus on it. And Brandon took them aside and hey, it's just a race. You can do it. Get back into it. And that really spoke to me, right? Like having somebody who goes out to their team and even though he's racing, he has his own thing to worry about, make sure that his teammates are set up. That counts. That speaks volumes about his character. Give me a second to pull up my notes. So one of the things that I also really appreciate is that he is one of the best skiers we've had. Definitely the best skier on our team this year. You were first in 3 races or something like that this year, so like very good skier, right? I can't really coach him that much, right? He is the athlete. But every practice this year, he spent coaching somebody else. And so I would give some advice, you know, somebody else would coach, and it was always Brandon trying to make sure that someone else was also being coached. Whether it was a change of advice, trying to teach them something that maybe I was not doing effectively, or if it's someone who just didn't care to hear what I had to say. I have a couple of athletes that were out there to have fun with their friends, and I can safely say that I don't think I've taught them anything in 3 years, but they've learned a lot from you. And I think that really matters, right? That's what makes it great. He also, being one of the best skiers, that's never come up. You know, it's never been, I'm the best, or, you know, you have to listen to me because I'm the best, or I know more, or anything like that. It's always been a humble, I'm just here to have fun, and if I can make you better, hey, that's cool, we're both better. That means a lot. I feel like I'm saying that a lot. So, keeping a level head, encouraging his teammates, and performing really well, even when things aren't going great. You know, we had a scare this winter. He disappeared off the hill. We thought, you know, maybe he was out for the season. Right at the end of this season, when we already lost, we had lost 2 races at the beginning of the season, so we had already constrained from our normally short season to an even shorter one. We thought he was out, but it was just a small injury, but he got back in, wouldn't even know it happened. That attitude is really what exemplifies this. And if you had asked me last year, would I nominate him? I would have said no. But that growth from where he was at the beginning of last year, through last season, through this year, there was no one else that was even in the running this year. So with that, congratulations, you have completely earned it. Congratulations.
Congrats. Thanks for you.
Thank you.
Robert Rafferty, girls lacrosse.
Good evening. I'd like to congratulate all the student athletes. It's my first year here. I'd like to thank Joanne and Kathy, along with the other coaches as well, welcoming me to the Morristown-Beard community. Our Crimson Award for girls lacrosse this year is from our outstanding senior class. My only regret is I do not get a chance to coach them for another year. It's my honor and privilege to present the Crimson Award to Joelle Rusumano. Joelle demonstrates the true essence of this award each and every day, both on the field and off. Her determination, commitment, work ethic, and extraordinary leadership make her the ultimate teammate. She inspires her teammates to be the best they can be, regardless of the situation, whether we're winning or whether we're losing. As a three-sport athlete, Joelle takes pride in her commitment in embracing the MBS school community and instilling her positive attitude as a teammate. On the lacrosse field, she is probably one of the hardest working athletes I've ever coached in my almost 20 years of coaching. No matter the situation, Joelle gives 100%, whether we're up by 5 goals, down by 5 goals, whether it's the beginning of the game, whether it's the end of the game. And again, you cannot coach that. You either have it as an athlete or you don't have it as an athlete. For those that have seen many of our games this year, somehow Joelle always ends up on the turf. It happens multiple times a game. And without hesitation, she immediately gets right back up and continues to play without a question. That just shows how she embraces being the best she can be in any situation, along with being strong on the inside and on the outside. Along with being one of the hardest working athletes, like I mentioned before, she embodies the term coachable. And again, that's something that an athlete either has or does not have. No matter what I asked of her, she always stepped up and faced the challenge with great determination, and at the same time, always putting her team first. Her impact in the Girls Lacrosse program will be felt for many years to come. And again, it's my honor and privilege to award the Crimson Girls Lacrosse Award to Joelle Rusumano. Congrats. Shake hands, we'll shake. Yes.
No.
We'll shake.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you. That's good.
Thank you.
Dr. Payette, cross country.
Hi, everybody. So this is my first time at this event. I'm normally the assistant coach who gets to hide behind the scenes, but our head coach of the cross-country program, Amy Alto, gave birth to her 4th child a couple weeks ago. So she wishes she could be here, but I think she timed that on purpose, so she had to send me to give the public speaking because I know how much she loves public speaking. I have the privilege of awarding the 2nd Crimson Award to Luca Okuzu. He is the Cross Country Crimson Award winner and was also awarded for the boys winter track, was it Scott? Sorry? Track and field, boys track and field. So the first double winner tonight. So Luca was the captain of the cross country team this year, and obviously the team faced a rather unusual set of circumstances, far fewer meets than in a typical year and less practices, and the seemingly endless array of COVID-related safety checks and other restrictions. Through it all, Luca's positive attitude helped bring the team together into a tight-knit group. In fact, the cross-country team is known as a family, where students of varying athletic abilities have found a home over the years. And Luca's willingness to engage the new athletes, despite masks and social distancing restrictions, was instrumental in carrying on that legacy this season. Although we always have a few strong runners, and I'd count Luca amongst that group, it's the quirky student athletes who just want to be part of a team that make coaching in our program so much fun. It's in large part due to Luca that this year's group felt very similar internally to our previous teams, despite all the external differences brought on by the pandemic. In addition to his welcoming presence with the new team members, Luca is someone that his teammates looked up to because of his desire to do well and his positive attitude at practices and meets. He was committed to the team and constantly motivating his teammates to do their best. Luca is one of the few athletes we've had over the years who I can honestly say has never once complained about a workout he's been asked to do. Although I won't say he was always smiling immediately after a tough run, the fact that he'd stoically push himself to complete every repetition to the best of his abilities had a way of rubbing off on his teammates. In fact, on the rare occasions when Luca had to miss practice this year, there was a noticeable difference in the atmosphere at practice, almost as if the team didn't know how to proceed without Luca to lead them. Whomever is selected as captain next year will have big shoes to fill. Please join me in saluting Luca Okuzu, the 2021 Crimson Award winner for cross country. Oh, you get a winner check there. That's not me.
Thank you.
I don't know what that was.
Oh, sorry.
That's a replacement.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congrats. Mike Sturgeon, girls basketball.
Good evening. My name is still Mike Sturgeon, and I'm proud to present the 2021 Crimson Award for girls basketball. I didn't know which way I wanted to go with this speech, but there was many options. So Scott, get comfortable. I guess it was about 8 years ago when a resume for an assistant coach was given to me by Mrs. DeZama. Brian Martin had wanted to make the change and come coach at MBS. He was the boys' coach at Oratory, and I knew his older son when he came through MBS. Brian would be the perfect fit for us. People claim I hired Brian because he had a 6 foot, 6th grade daughter. I swear I didn't know you had a daughter at that point. But when Erin rolled into the gym that summer and could compete with the high school kids, I couldn't wait till she put on the number 3 for the Crimson. Erin changed Morristown-Beard basketball and helped put us on the map as a power in Morris County and North Jersey. When I get old, I'm not there yet, and look back on girls basketball at MBS, Erin Martin is the name that will come to mind. She leaves as one of the most decorated players in school history, but it was one play, 9/10 of a second, that set Erin apart from the rest. Yes, one completely forgotten play, but I'll get to that in a minute. A 3-time All-County player, a 4-time All-Conference player, and a 3-time All-Prep player as well. She leaves MBS as the all-time leading rebounder, all-time leader in assists, all-time leader in block shots, and second in steals, only 13 behind the leader. And keep in mind, she was shortchanged over 12 games this year. This is quite an impressive resume, but that's not what makes up Erin. Erin helped lead the basketball team to 3 conference titles, a prep final appearance, and a county title in her 4 years. This is what makes Erin Martin go. She wanted her team to succeed. Personal stats and accolades do not drive her. She was asked to play all 5 positions during her career and never wavered at that challenge. She was always asked to do pieces of the game that don't get the glory: rebound, block shots, defend, take charges. In fact, more times than not, I had to ask her to be more assertive when it came to scoring, but she also knew that she could set up her teammates and give us a better opportunity of scoring than forcing up a bad shot. In about 100 games played in high school, Erin never had a night off effort-wise. She always showed up. Her main focus was doing what she needed so her team could get a win. It's the only stat she cared about. No job was too big or too small when it came to that. She was the quintessential teammate. Her knowledge of the game is what gave her an edge. She was always one step ahead of everyone, including me. Losing Erin's defense, rebounding, and assists next year will be very tough to overcome. But it's her leadership, coachability, and being that coach on the floor that cannot be replaced. Oh yeah, that play I mentioned from before, the forgotten one. In the county final against Chatham scored a layup to take the lead with 5.1 seconds left. Here's the issue. 5.1 seconds left was the time that the ref spotted me calling timeout. One ref stepped up and said that number 3 called a timeout as the ball entered through the hoop. All 3 refs agreed, and they put 6 seconds on the clock, adding 9/10 of a second. If you look at the game-winning shot, the ball is still in Christina DeMatha's hands with 0.9 seconds left as she's releasing it. If we didn't have that always positive, team-first, player-coach on the floor, we would never talk about that game. A simple forgotten timeout says everything you need to know about Erin Martin. Congrats, Erin, on winning the 2021 Crimson Award for girls basketball. You got to get in the middle. You're like taller than everybody else.
We're sorry. Congrats.
Congrats. No, here, take the puck. You get that. I don't get to keep that. Congrats.
Yeah. Brett Michelle, boys tennis.
Thanks for rubbing it in that I'm class of '86. I appreciate that very much. The Crimson Award winner for boys tennis is a 4-year varsity starter. Beginning his high school tennis career playing doubles, this athlete worked his way up from second singles his sophomore year to first singles for his senior year. Despite the cancellation of his junior season, Alex Hopman still amassed an impressive 30 regular season wins. In 2019, Alex helped our team to win a share of the NJAC Liberty Division title for the first time in 8 seasons. This year, with Alex at first singles, the team finished with a perfect 8-0 mark to capture the division title outright. Alex never once shied away from the challenge of playing first singles, constantly facing the best player each program had to offer. Because of this, he was an inspiration to his teammates. Alex's calm yet focused demeanor made him an easy choice for captain this year. It has been this same calm and focus that his teammates came to rely on throughout our season. He's been a natural motivator and leader for our team, balancing hard work and determination with a little bit of fun at each practice and after each match. Alex never missed a practice or a match and captured the respect of his teammates, coaches, and opponents. I'm very fortunate to have had the opportunity to watch him develop into a true leader for our team. The coaching staff would like to thank Alex Hopman for all of his hard work and commitment to the tennis program during his time at Morristown-Beard. Congratulations, Alex, on being the Varsity Boys Tennis Crimson Award winner for 2021.
Mairead Forrest, girls soccer.
Hi. Oh, sorry, that was loud. I'm Mairead Forrest, the coach of the girls soccer team. You've heard the defining traits of a Crimson Award winning athlete or something similar more than one time this evening, so I'm not going to make you listen to it again. Instead, I'm just going to tell you about Peggy and what exactly it is about her that's made watching her grow into the amazing young woman and leader she's become over the past few years one of the most important moments of my career as a coach. Peggy's earnest and cheerful, good-natured and compassionate, jovial and kind, but most importantly, she's selfless, and her dedication to helping others in all aspects of her life is her most essential trait. As a player and teammate, Peggy's all these things and more. Loyal, selfless, and endlessly devoted to her teammates, most, if not all of which, would count her as one of their closest friends. From my very first season as a coach, Peggy's consistently put the needs and well-being of the team first, without so much as a second thought. She's always the first to welcome and bond with the new freshmen at the beginning of every season, wanting them to feel immediately accepted as members of the team. If a teammate looked upset or frustrated, it was Peggy you'd always find at their side offering support. She advocated for her teammates when she believed they deserved recognition, and although not anyone I know would describe her as confrontational, she never shied away from holding players accountable to team standards if the situation warranted it. Although her personality alone is reason enough to validate Peggy being the recipient of this award, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that during her time with the program, Peggy had more than a few accolades on the field. She passed every fitness test with flying colors. She attended every optional summer practice. She never let an already intense dance schedule interfere with her commitment to the team. She was the first to most practices and games, often helping set up and clean up for most of those as well, and was often the last to leave the field after them. Yet, what's most exceptional is that if you asked Peggy about any of this, none of this would seem worthy of recognition to her, and clearly never factored in as motivation for her actions. In fact, when it was announced that her teammates elected her to serve as a captain during her final year, Peggy burst into tears of joy, overwhelmed by the idea that her teammates felt she was deserving of such an honor, because in her mind, she'd simply been doing what she knew was right. It's these traits that made Peggy not only a great captain this year, but will make her someone that's influential in shaping this program's path forward long after she's left. I couldn't imagine this award being more perfect for anyone else. Congratulations on winning the Crimson Award for 2021, Peggy.
I'm gonna cry. Don't look at me. Are you gonna take my hand or something? Oh. I thought you were gonna come to
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Tim Fell, boys basketball.
Good evening again. As a first-year head coach of the Morristown-Beard basketball program, I was kind of wondering what kind of team we would have, what kind of identity we would have as a team. There were a number of questions to answer, but I thought we definitely had at least one impact player returning. I had no idea what an impact Justin Axelrod would make on this year's team. Having taught Justin as a junior, I knew he was a bright, hardworking student, and watching him play as an underclassman, I knew he was talented. But what set Justin apart were his leadership skills and his coachability. As the most talented player on the team, it would have been easy for Justin to do things his own way or the way that things used to be done prior to my arrival. But that was not the case. Justin practiced and learned all new offenses and defenses and completely bought in to what we were doing as a team. He was the hardest working player in practice and our best player during games. Even as we struggled early in the season, Justin's steadfast leadership was key in turning our season around. A favorite memory I have of Justin, and what he might say was his best game, was when he had something like 15 assists and asked to stay in the game even though we had a big lead. He told me, "Coach, I want one more assist for a player who had not scored all year." And as it turned out, Justin gave him a perfect pass for his first bucket of the season. And seeing the look on Justin's face says everything you need to know about him as a player and a teammate. As our top player, Justin always drew the opponent's best defender. Teams went out of their way to, shall I say, make him uncomfortable. And Justin never lost his cool. And to be honest, he always delivered, no matter who was guarding him. We finished the year winning 6 in a row, and I was so proud and happy for Justin that he was able to lead his team to a championship in his last game of his high school career. I wish Justin all the best and ask that he come forward to receive this year's Crimson Basketball Award. Congratulations, Justin, and thank you.
Congrats.
You go in the middle? Good to see you, buddy.
Congrats. This is for you. Scott McCormick, girls track and field.
Right, it's my last one. So congratulations to all the winners. It's great to see so many people that I've taught in class or in my advisory here tonight. I'm really proud of all of you guys. It has been a fantastic career for Daisha as a part of the Crimson track and field team. She represents perfectly the qualities that we're looking for among our team members: dedication, consistency, an emphasis on personal growth, and commitment to the team. Right from the start, Daisha was always one of the most dependable athletes we have had on our team, making it to every practice and always giving her absolute best during workouts, and always doing it with a smile and quiet determination. She's been willing to step up and do any event that we needed contributions in, and has been a steadfast supporter of her teammates as they compete. Her consistent hard work has resulted in a long line of steady progress in her performances, making gradual improvements every year. And I would really love to show some of the other younger members of the team her progression in order to demonstrate what is possible if you just show up and give your best every day. Daisha's progress is testament to the fact that there is nothing magical about setting new personal bests, but it's just about being consistent, putting in the time, and making the most of your own natural abilities. Daisha has been a true pleasure to have on the team these past 4 years, and it is with great satisfaction that we can present Daisha Johnson with the Crimson Award for Girls Track and Field in 2021.
Michael Leo, boys golf.
Good evening. Thanks to Joanne and to Kathy, who is not here, for making our season move along very smoothly. I know everyone has thanked you, but I figured I would as well. And thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight to present the Crimson Award for the boys golf team to a very deserving student athlete, Logan Yeager. As I read through the description as to what the Crimson Award represents, the choice for this year's team, with all respect to everyone else on the team, was a pretty easy one. I had met Logan during his sophomore season, which was my first one coaching here at MBS. And because that particular team had a lot of big personalities and some really good players, I didn't really get to know him all that well. Obviously, we lost last year's season due to the pandemic, so coming into this year, I not only had no idea what to expect from the team on the course, but also no thoughts on what the chemistry of the team would look like, which is always important, especially with such a small group. Logan took up the leadership role right from the start, and he carried that torch all throughout the season. We were in contact pretty much every day, and I took his thoughts on things as if he were an assistant coach. No offense, Tim. Whether it was on player selection, practice ideas, anything really. I wanted to ask the other kids for their thoughts on Logan, and every single one of them mentioned, the first thing they mentioned, not of how great a golfer he was, but his outstanding leadership. He's exactly the kind of leader I love, not a rah-rah, in-your-face, look-at-me type of leader, which truthfully wouldn't work very well in golf anyway, but more of a confident, get the job done, I'm here to help type of leader. Kids are very smart and very observant and can sniff out anyone, whether it be a coach or a teammate, who they deem to be less than genuine for whatever reason. And I can say without hesitation that all of our guys thought that Logan did an outstanding job leading this year's team. Aside from his excellent leadership, fearlessness is the word that describes Logan's play. High school golf is a tough sport to play. There's no timeouts, there's no substitutions, there's no mulligans, and there's no one to help when things are going wrong. In big tournaments, kids know that their score will count, so one bad hole can undo 17 good ones. And this year we saw that happen on quite a few occasions. Anyone who has ever played golf knows how easy it is to lose things mentally, especially when things are going south, which they inevitably do on a golf course. And it takes a special kid to keep it together at all times. Unlike other sports where getting mad can be beneficial, in golf, anger only makes things worse. In reviewing the scores from this year, Logan was about as consistent as a player could be at this level, as his score was either our best or our second best every single time out, which is pretty much unheard of. If you look at the all-state list, even some of those kids did not count in matches this year, but Logan counted every single time. We also played one of the toughest schedules you can play in this state, and Logan actually teed it up with 4 different kids who made first team all-state. He held his own every time. Most kids would be intimidated playing with players of such a high caliber, but Logan never once hesitated or wavered, and I think he really relished the opportunity. I don't think he realizes how good he actually is. And if I weren't going so late, I would have made this shorter, but I just have a quick story here. I'd just like to tell a quick story from a match we played last week. We actually played Mendham last week in a Ryder Cup style match, playing match play instead of the typical stroke play. And for those of you who don't know what that means, I won't bore you with the details, but essentially, you're only playing against one other player head to head. Mendham's #1 player is very talented and actually just received a scholarship to play golf at the Division II level, so he can clearly play. I have known him and his family for many years, so there was a bit of trash talk leading up into the match. I was lucky enough to play with Logan that day, and I can say it was honestly maybe the best 7 holes I have ever seen somebody play. And I've had the privilege of playing a good amount of golf with some really talented players. I think he was 1 under par, but he probably could have been 4 or 5 under. Needless to say, he won very easily, and when I checked my phone later that night, the Mendham player had left me a voicemail. I won't relay exactly what he had said, as he can be a bit animated at times, but to suffice it to say he was also very impressed, and I can assure you he is not easily impressed, especially when it comes to golf. Before wrapping up, I just wanted to touch upon what I think stood out the most to me this year, beyond his leadership, his attitude, and his play. His ability to interact with opposing players and coaches was really very impressive to me. One of the knocks on this generation of kids is that they lack some social skills. Whether that's true or not, I'm not going to comment. But in Logan's case, it is unequivocally false. Off the top of my head, I can recall at least 3 different coaches passing along terrific feedback about Logan, and that is high praise in the golf coaching community, as there are a few curmudgeons lurking around. He is at ease around both kids and adults. He interacts with confidence and has a great sense of humor. I joke with the kids all the time about how important those soft skills are as they get out into the real world, and I'm sure they roll at their eyes whenever I bring it up. But we all know sports can teach us things that we can't learn in classrooms, which is one of the many reasons it makes them so valuable. The team this year surpassed any and all expectations, making it all the way to the Tournament of Champions and winning the prep tournament, two achievements which even the most optimistic me couldn't have seen coming in March. It was a really special season with a great group of kids. The team chemistry was awesome, and each day was a pleasure. Logan was certainly the catalyst and is just a special young man, one I am thankful for the opportunity to have coached. The team will miss him, and so will I. I wish him all the best in the next phase of his life, and I know he has great things ahead. Thank you very much.
Nice job. I know. You guys match. All right, smile. Congrats. Thank you. Hopefully, okay, we're okay. Kevin McDonald, class of '98 for softball.
Last one. Let's go. Come on. All right. Sorry, I just organized my papers here. No, I'm just kidding. Catching is a state of mind. It takes a special athlete and a special person to take on this position. Whether it's playing in 40-degree weather or 100-degree weather on the turf, putting the gear on and off, getting hit by foul balls in the hands, legs, or straight off the face mask. You have to be prepared for all the situations and react as soon as they happen. These are the challenges of being a catcher and putting on the tools of ignorance. That term is meant to point out the irony that a player with the intelligence needed to be an effective catcher would be foolish enough to play the position that required so much safety equipment. They have to be skillful, tough, and quick on their feet. Our Crimson Award winner has all the qualities it takes to be as successful as a catcher. Kirsten Harvitt certainly has those skills, but I would like to take it one step further. I can honestly say that I wish that each one of my players came to the field each day with the same passion, determination, humility, and class the way Kirsten does each day. Kirsten not only challenges herself to be better each day, she brings out the best in those around her. She's a great teammate and a leader for the softball team. I am so thankful to be able to coach such a wonderful player, student, and person. I am looking forward to our last few games this season only because I know how much Kirsten is looking forward to being at the field each day. She makes me a better coach, and I will always be grateful for that. Thank you, and congratulations to Kirsten Harvitt. Congratulations.
At this time, I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank just a small group of our coaches who are here tonight. As you have heard and you experienced as athlete parents, this year was like none other, right? I could not have done what I did every day without Kathy Fleming, who unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight. She is the glue that holds our department together. Dice K, thank you. Dice is everywhere and anywhere you need him. And a great example of that is tonight. I came to the senior circle to set up, and I looked around and I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't have anywhere for my coaches to sit. Guess who I texted? Guess who grabbed the golf cart? Guess who grabbed 25 extra chairs and cleaned each one of them? Thank you, Dice K. And finally, thanks to our student athletes. As someone mentioned earlier, you are the best. You make my job wonderful each and every day when I walk outside at 2:30, 3 o'clock to see you compete. That is my most favorite part of my day. So thank you for all that you do and all that you contribute to Morristown-Beard. And good luck, and thank you, and have a wonderful night. everybody's here.